In Grimm fairy tales, we catch up with Alice as she falls through a portal and lands on top of a vulture in Wonderland. Now, Alice is confused because as she's overwhelmed by the sunlight, she knows there's not supposed to be any vultures in this region. Nevertheless, she doesn't realize she's in Wonderland yet. As Alice refers to her notes and documents her surroundings, she's being watched from the shadows. But elsewhere, a zombie bunny hops out the shadows and makes his way towards some soldiers who just so happen to be hungry for some rabbit meat. Later, as Alice is trying to figure out where the hell she is, she feels something watching her from the shadows. Out of nowhere, a big-ass beast of a cat attempts to attack Alice, but the cat wasn't expecting Alice to retaliate with a stick. As the cat prepares itself for round 2, it's halted by its handler. This is Violet, and she has an agreement with this cat. But Violet introduces herself to Alice, and she's willing to help Alice get out of Wonderland. But Violet warns Alice that she's in danger as Violet is being hunted by King Humpty. Now Alice is like, "You mean Humpty Dumpty?" But Violet is like, "Yeah, whatever." Elsewhere on the farm, we see some dwarves harvesting teacups from their tree, but the dwarves are about to get unlikely guests in the form of a fuck ton of zombies. The zombies crash the party and they proceed to violently eat and mutilate the dwarves. Meanwhile, as Alice and Violet are making their way through the forest, Mr. Cat smells something edible. They happen upon Humpty Dumpty and his band of misfits, who just so happen to have a captive in the form of Julia, the Queen of Hearts. But as Humpty Dumpty is interrogating her, they get confronted by a group of wild roses who've been getting kind of out of hand since the Queen of Hearts disappeared. Now Humpty Dumpty spots Alice and Violet and sends one of his chicken goons to go engage them. But as Violet is fighting one of the chickens, she's luckily backed up by Mr. Cat. Julia managed to break free and she grabs Humpty Dumpty before he can start letting off rounds. Now as Alice, Violet, and Julia deal with Humpty Dumpty's goons, the flowers get shot and the pollen from the flowers end up getting everybody high as fuck. Hours later, the group wakes up from a drug-induced coma only to find Humpty Dumpty's goon being consumed by the zombies. The group attempts to retreat, but as they try to run away, Violet gets caught in the zombie horde. Luckily for Violet, Mr. Cat sacrifices himself so she can get away. Julia explains to the ladies that there's nowhere to go as the zombie horde is consuming everything across Wonderland. As the zombie horde closes in on them, the group decides that their only recourse is to get to the Hall of Mirrors to get to another dimension. As the group makes their way towards the Hall of Mirrors, the zombies are in hot pursuit, assisted by Mr. Cat, who is now a zombie also. Violet senses herself starting to succumb to the zombie plague, and she decides to use herself to lure the group into a trap. Violet lures the horde into the Maze of Hearts. Once inside the maze, you'll be lost forever. As the group retreats from the zombie horde, Julia gives Violet a going-away present in the form of a little sploder. As Mr. Cat and the zombie horde close in on Violet, Violet activates the bomb and blows up the zombie horde as well as the Maze of Hearts. Elsewhere, as Julia and Alice continue to retreat towards the Hall of Mirror, they're ambushed by several zombies as well as a big-ass cosmic horror. Julia pushes Alice down the well towards the Hall of Mirrors in a last-ditch attempt to fight off the zombies following them. As the roof caves in on the monsters in the zombie horde, Julia looks up at the impending doom, simply stating, "Whatever it takes." Alice eventually does make her way to the Hall of Mirrors, only to find several broken mirrors. Alice does find one mirror that is unbroken, and she retreats through that mirror in a final act of desperation. As Alice falls through the portal, all she can hear is tick-tock in the background. Alice ends up in the clutches of Father Time and is seemingly consumed by the sand of time. The end.